Hello, dear students. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to explain what is chemical reaction, what are reactants, what are products, examples of chemical reaction. Then we are going to study how to write a chemical reaction and what are the steps to balance a chemical reaction. So, dear student, I hope you are ready with your pen and book. Let us start. So, first we'll start with the definition. What is chemical reaction? A chemical reaction is a process by which the original substance loses its nature and identity and form new substance with different properties. So, in a chemical reaction, the breaking of the chemical bonds takes place and the formation of new chemical bonds is responsible for the occurrence of a chemical reaction. Note down. The substances which takes part in a chemical reaction are called as reactants. So these are known as reactants. So the substances which takes part in a chemical reaction are known as reactants. Products. The substances which are formed in a chemical reaction are called products. So whatever the substances are formed in the reaction, those substances are called as products. So there are many chemical reactions. Let us take few examples. Digestion of food, respiration, rusting of iron, formation of curds, etc. So in any chemical reactions, the observations are very important. Observations are important to identify a chemical reaction. So what are the observations? Let us see. Change in state, change in color, evolution of gas, change in temperature, and formation of precipitate. So these are all the observations that you have to observe in a chemical reaction. Note down. There are 5 observations to identify a chemical reaction. Note down, dear students. Now, we'll see how to write a chemical reaction. So, a chemical reaction is written in this form. We are writing the reactants on the left hand side, then an arrow, and the products on the right hand side. So in the bracket, we have to write the state of the reactant. For example, this is carbon monoxide and it is in gaseous state. So we are writing G for gas. Next reactant is hydrogen. It is in gaseous state. We are writing G. Above the arrow, we have to write the conditions at which this reaction takes place. That is, if the reaction is taking place at pressure, that is 340 atmospheric pressure. So we are writing 340 atmospheric pressure above the arrow. So this is the method of writing the chemical reaction. Next, we have to write the product. So the product is CH3OH. So as this product is in a liquid state, so in the bracket we have to write L. So this is the product. Note down, dear students, for the reactants and the products, you have to mention the state, whether it is in gaseous state, solid state or liquid state. Please note down. an arrow sign is put between the reactants and the products. So the physical states of the reactants and products are also mentioned in a chemical reaction. Please note down that. So we have to mention the physical states of the reaction, that whether it is in a gaseous state, liquid state, or a solid state. That has to be mentioned. Next, one more examples we'll take. Second examples, carbon dioxide reacts with water to give sunlight in presence of sunlight and chlorophyll to give glucose and oxygen. So this is a simple reaction of photosynthesis, as you all know, dear students. So 6 carbon dioxide molecules reacts with water to give glucose and oxygen. So above the arrow we are writing here in presence of sunlight and chlorophyll. Okay, so this is a general way of writing any chemical reaction. Note down. And of course in the brackets we have written the states, whether it is in gaseous state, liquid state, or aqueous state. So please remember, an arrow sign is put between the reactants and the products, and above the arrow you have to write the necessary conditions at which the reaction takes place. For example, at a particular temperature, at a particular pressure, or in presence of any catalyst, or in presence of any reactants. So all the necessary conditions you have to mention about this arrow. You can see the arrow over here. About this arrow you have to mention. So I hope you have understood. Next, let us see how to balance the chemical reaction. Now, what do you mean by balancing the chemical reaction? The process of equalizing the atoms of various elements on either sides of an equation is called the balancing of chemical equation. So we are going to equalize the atoms of various elements in either side of an equation. That is, you have to equalize the equation accordingly. You have to see the reactant side and the product side. So the process should be equalized. The reaction should be balanced. So there are few steps to balance the chemical reaction that we are going to study. Let us start. I hope you are writing the reaction. So this is the reaction. Please note down, dear students. First example we are going to take, when iron reacts with water gives Fe3O4 and hydrogen. So step first. So what is the first step? Let us see. Step first is write the chemical equation and draw boxes around each formula. So you have to write the chemical equation and you have to draw the boxes. So we have drawn the boxes here around each formula. Second step is you have to count the number of atoms on each element on both the sides of the arrow. So you have to count the number of atoms on both the sides of the arrow. You have to count the number of atoms on left hand side as well as number of atoms on the right hand side. So here you can see, in the one column you have to write the number of atoms of reactants. In the other column you have to write number of atoms at product side. And these are the elements: iron, hydrogen, oxygen. So number of atoms at the reactant side, iron 1, hydrogen there are 2, so we are writing here 2, oxygen 1, number of atoms at product side 3 iron atoms, hydrogen you can see there are 2 atoms, so we have to write 2, and oxygen 4. Okay, so just write, make a table and write the elements on the write the elements and write the number of atoms at reactant site and number of atoms at the product site. Okay, that is your second step. Let us see what is the step third. So step third, note down dear student, you have to equalize the number of the atoms of element which has the maximum number of atoms. So which are having maximum number of atoms, that you have to equalize first. So let us see. Here maximum number of atoms are present in oxygen, right? Oxygen is having maximum number of atoms. So we have to start balancing first oxygen. Okay. So as on the product side there are 4 oxygen atoms. On the reactant side there are 1 oxygen atom. There is 1 oxygen atom. So let us write 4 here. So 4 H2O, and let us check whether the oxygen atoms are balanced on the LHS and RHS. So here we are having 4 oxygen atoms. On RHS we are having 4 oxygen atoms. So this is balanced. So oxygen atoms are balanced. Okay, just put a tick mark. Next, step fourth. Try to equalize the atoms of elements on reactant and product side by adding coefficient in front of it. So always you have to try to equalize the atoms by adding a coefficient. Okay, so the fourth step is, as you know, on the left hand side you are having, just check iron atoms 1. Here at the product side we are having 3 iron atoms. Okay, so here you need 3 more on the reactant side. So I'm writing here 3. So 3 Fe. Don't write at the base here. That is not the correct method of writing. You have to write here 3 Fe plus 4 H2O gives Fe3O4 plus H2. Now check whether the reaction is balanced. So on the LHS side we are having 3 iron atoms. On the RHS we are having 3. Yeah, it's balanced. Next, check hydrogen. On LHS, at LHS side we are having 4 hydrogen. 4, that is 8 hydrogen atoms. Here, product side we are having 8. Yeah, so hydrogen atoms are balanced. Next, oxygen we have already balanced in the first step. Next is step 5th. So write the physical states of the reactants and products. So we have to write the physical states of the reactants and product. Physical states, as I told you before, whether the reactants are in solid, liquid or gaseous state, that you have to see and you have to write. So here you can see iron is in solid state, so we are writing S. Water is in gaseous state, so we are writing G, small g. Fe3O4 is in solid state, so we are writing S over here. And next is hydrogen. So hydrogen, that is in gaseous state. So dear students, these are 5 steps to balance any chemical reaction. First step, second step, third step, and fourth and fifth step. Fifth step is just you have to write the physical states of the reactants and the products. Sixth step is you have to write the conditions. So your sixth step is you have to write the conditions, whether the reaction is taking place at particular temperature or pressure, that you have to mention above the arrow. Above this arrow you have to mention. Okay. I hope you have understood how to balance a chemical reaction. In the next class, I will take few more examples about how to balance a chemical reaction. So directly we can write in one step. So no need of writing all these 4 steps. This I have 4 to 5 steps. This I have explained to you because you can understand like how to write the chemical reaction and how to balance it. Okay. So it's a very easy method to balance a chemical reaction. And in the next class, we'll study that. Okay. Thank you, dear students. Please like, share and subscribe my channel, and don't forget to click on the bell icon to get the notifications for more videos. Thank you.